Did we do well, my darling girls? Did we really do well? We grew you up to be straight and strong, to do your best to know right from wrong, but we grew you in this awful world.
Afternoon, California, New York, Bradford. Wonderful to see you all. Wales, hello Wales and Cornwall, up the Celts and Gloucestershire and Canada. That's wonderful. You can see we've got Ali B here today. I did ask her to play live, but she said the sound wasn't good enough. So yeah, but we've got her on CD.
My excuse anyway.
That's your excuse. You can stick to it. So it's very, very good to see you all. Hello Coventry. Hello Coventry, I should say. Hello Georgia. Yeah, there's going to be singing, Tinsel. You bet there's going to be singing. You bet. This is our first ever musical webinar. I hope that we will have some more. It's, I think, about our 10th webinar now. I've lost count, so that has to be a good thing. Hello, Bodil in Sweden and the North Pennines. It's a bit different this week. Yes, but it's our first musical one. Big thanks to the Women's Human Rights Commission, as always, for letting us use their Zoom. And also to our new textpert, Mary, who is doing it for the first time today. I'm feeling very, very happy because she's downstairs in my living room rather than 100 miles away on the other end of the line. Please be patient. It's the first time that she's done this and I'm not very good at technology, so we'll try and sort out anything that goes wrong. We have got some sensitive topics in these songs that we're going to hear today, and there is some language which you might not want small children to hear, so you have been warned. We hope you'll have lots of, oh, I hope you like, yeah, you like Toffee, my ginger cat. There he is. He likes to sit there and inspire me. He's as beautiful as anybody. And if you're not careful, he'll do his clever trick and shake paws. I bet Fingal can't do that. So, hope you'll have lots of questions for Ali. If you're happy to come on screen and to speak live on the air, then please put it in the Q&A and we'll try and get to you. If you'd just like me to ask your question, then stick it in the chat and I will put it to Ali when I get a moment. If we do select you to talk, please be ready to unmute yourself, which Zoom should prompt you to do. And while you're unmuted, your name will be visible to everybody. As you know, we're recording these objectinars for YouTube, and it'll be available soon because Mary, who's doing our tech today, is also going to kick our YouTube channel into touch. And we're looking forward to that. So, I think we'll start. Let me see how many more. Oh, 46. I think that's good. I think we'll kick off. As you can see, Ali B there on the screen, looking amazingly ordinary. I think Ali B is the feminist Bob Dylan, the thinking woman's Billy Bragg, a Radfem singer and songwriter. She talks and sings about her life, her music, her extensive honour roll of social media bans, which we are working hard to try and catch up with. We've got another one today. And the lyric that got Harry Miller, the ex-cop, into trouble. Harry Miller is part of Fair Cop and has done a lot of quite active stuff, court case and so on. And it was Ali's song that he got into trouble for singing. So in between, we'll be enjoying Ali's catchy songs and their hard-hitting, hilarious, gender-critical lyrics. It can be such a relief to speak out and tell the truth sometimes, I'm sure you'll agree. Ali is also a gender atheist, a poet, a mother, a grandmother, a cursing expert, and a totally excellent real female old woman singing. And I'm sure you'll all agree that ageism is no better than racism or sexism, and we're not going to be ageist here. I think one of the things I really like about Ali is that she sings in a truly ordinary house with a truly ordinary guitar and no pretense or pretentiousness whatsoever. I love that. And all this belies the extraordinary nature of her songs. How do you sing about rape, femicide, porn, transgenderism, sex robots, oh hi Lisa Marie, paedophilia, child sexual abuse, violence against women, coercive control, toxic gender roles, autogynephilia, menopause, wokeness, invasion of women-only spaces and gaslighting without making it a misery litany? You'll soon find out. Ali does it all with a controlled intensity a calm ferocity, and a razor-sharp wit and humour. She never ducks the starkness of the truth, and yet she makes us smile. She offers us ways out, ways not to yield, ways to fight back, better ways. And as with every protest movement, our songs are our strength, and our songs bring us together. I find myself singing them under my breath at moments of feminist stress. It makes a nice change from the other one I've always sung at those moments, which is if a person's got a penis, she's a man. You can get looks singing that quietly under your breath. There's nobody like her. She's got a YouTube channel, which we're going to put in the chat, and a CD, wonderful CD, which looks like this. You can even colour it in. It's called Not Drowning, but Second Waving, which I play frequently to cheer myself up, despite the contents. The way Ali approaches them cheers you up anyway. So I'm going to talk to Ali about her life and music, get to play you tasters from all my favourite Ali B songs in between. The ones I've chosen are 2 heartbreaking anthems for daughters, 1 for sons, 1 each on coercive control, rape and gaslighting. All great for an afternoon's entertainment. So Ali, could you tell me a little bit about your childhood and the family that you grew up in?
Well, both my parents were teachers, but my father decided that he was going to go back to college, so we were fairly poor for quite a long time, as he, you know, kept buggering off to do, you know, which is fair enough. But Mum was an unqualified teacher, if you like. She went straight into teaching. And in those days, you could do it without having a degree or anything. She didn't get a degree until she was in her 60s, I think.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, it was a fairly ordinary childhood, except that my dad wasn't there. And when he was there, he was a bit of a knobhead, really.
What sort of knobhead was Dad?
What sort of knobhead was that? Well, he was a member of the Labour Party and he called everybody comrade.
Oh, yeah.
But he never did anything in the house. I don't remember him playing with me. He never did any housework. He never cooked. He never cleaned. You know, so he was all for, you know, socialism and stuff, but not for Mum. She did absolutely everything. And that never changed, really. And I remember her saying, my dad got dementia when he was in his 80s. And I remember Mum saying to me, I wish I'd talked to him about it before it was too late. So she, you know, she'd left 60 years or something, they were married.
Wow.
And never spoke to him about it. And this was sort of always in the background of my mind, sort of thing, you know. He also, when I was quite small, the guy next door messed with me, if you like. It wasn't like severe abuse or anything, but it's, even though my dad hadn't been particularly sort of present for me, it definitely changed the way he looked at me. And he kind of refused to have much to do with me after that. That I was sent away for like a few weeks, obviously, while they sorted it out and got rid of the weirdo. But when I hit puberty, he was quite sort of, you know, he'd say sexual things to my friends under the guise of joking, and he'd sit around in his dressing gown and it would accidentally fall open. And he once touched me from behind when I was stood in front of the fish tank with the rest of the family. He was stood behind me, and so there was this weird, it was almost like time stopped. And I can still remember it so clearly, the shock and the, you know.
So it sounds like his boundaries were very, very clear in terms of who should do all the housework, but not so clear in terms of sexual matters.
Yeah, I think he thought that I was spoiled by it, so it didn't matter, because he was never like that with my sister. So, you know, and obviously that made it difficult as well. And he would have political discussions with my brothers, and include them in his sort of socialism and stuff, but would mock me for my opinions or my questions, and make it clear that I wasn't included in that kind of discussion.
Gosh, and was your sister included in that kind of discussion?
She's 5 years younger than me, so not really interested, you know. Obviously I don't know what happened after I left home, but I think probably not, but she was never that really that interested anyway.
Right.
Yeah, so weird childhood.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You know, not as bad as some. I mean, you know, there was books and music, and you know, I got the chance to play a lot of different musical instruments, you know, so there was a lot of good things about it. Well, it wasn't all bad, but yeah, it was not bad.
No, nothing's all bad, is it? No, I think that's good. And as we've got onto the subject of music, I think we've now got the song ready to
we are strong and we are serious, sisters one and all, and you can pass by chopping off your dick and balls. So you can make your threats and tell us in a fire will die, and call us and tell us that we must believe the line, and you can cry and moan about your sadness and hurt feelings. Tell us where to fuck you to break down the carbon ceiling. No, we're not hoes, we're whole women, and you're out of luck. Cause we're clever, complicated, more than just a hole to fuck. We are strong and we are serious, sisters one and all, and you can pass by chopping off your dick and balls.
So how did you get into writing songs and performing?
I was given a what I always refer to as a cardboard guitar when I was in my teens. It was my brother's and he didn't want it, so I sort of took it over. When my first long-term relationship split up, he was the father of my eldest daughter. I was looking for something to do, really, so I started playing again, and then one day I dropped it and it just exploded into a million splinters, because it was made of some kind of weird laminated wood. My mother very kindly bought me another guitar, and I almost immediately, as soon as I got used to this new guitar, started writing bits and pieces. I was involved with Women's Aid at that time, and volunteering and stuff. That gave me loads of ideas for songs, and I wrote songs for friends, and I wrote sort of, you know, slushy sort of romantic things, and then got involved with a chap who played lead guitar rather badly at the beginning, but he did improve, and we put together a band. Went through sort of various formats, and I wrote all the songs for that. Nobody was much in it. We did have a manager for a while, which was quite good fun, but and we got on the radio, but you know, nothing really came of it. I think you have to look a particular way to make it really in the music business, and as you can see, I don't look that way, and neither did he really. He wasn't like the sort of good looking, you know, lead guitarist type. He was kind of, he looked a bit like an alien. But that's when the writing started, really. And then years later, I'd sort of given it up for, I think, a good 8 years. Well, I kept up with, I used to do music sessions at work. I worked with people with learning disabilities, and did music sessions with them. And then my daughters made me a Facebook account, and one day I was on the Guardian, looking at the discussion. I think you should never read the discussion afterwards, and joined in, and boy, was that a mistake. And you know, I went on to say, well, what about biology? And some guy called me cis and said my opinion wasn't worth listening to. And I thought, I've never heard that word. This was must have been 2009, 2010.
How back is that?
So So I went and looked it up and found out what it meant, and was absolutely bloody horrified, you know, and started looking for groups on Facebook, feminist groups and stuff, most of which turned out to be liberal feminism, full of men and telling you what to think and stuff. And then I happened to come across Kathy Brennan, and she was posting about, and in 2010 she was posting about the Dyke March in, I think, New York, and about people marching with banners that said Holy Army, spelt Holey, so, which was pretty gross, but that sort of triggered something in me, and I thought, I've got to write about this, you know, because this isn't right, you know. Men can't be dykes, men can't be women, you know, what the fuck is going on? So and that's where the first song on the album came from, Whole Women, you know, because we're not just holes. No. And digging a hole into your body doesn't make you a woman, it makes you a wounded man. So and then it's never really stopped since then. I mean, I'm not particularly prolific, you know, some people churn them out week after week after week, but every time I think, oh, I'm never going to write another one, you know, a week later that somebody says something and I think, oh, that'll make a good song. Yeah.
So that's a long time ago, back in 2010, 2011. I certainly wasn't aware of all. I sort of got enlightened in 2016 by Dr. Julia Long. So you were well ahead of the game. But then,
I love Julia.
I know, we all love Julia Long. Yes, we've had her on the webinar. So it was a long time ago. So were you in any doubt, or did you instantly see through it?
Well, I instantly saw through it. I mean, back when I was involved with Women's Aid, even some of them thought I was a bit radical in my views, you know. I had a lesbian friend who, she was married, and she discovered she came to the realization she was lesbian, and her husband had her committed, and she actually had electroshock therapy to try and convert her back into a straight woman. And all the people, all the supposed feminists that she knew just deserted her. They kind of deserted me as well, because I stuck with her. You know, they were, I mean, yeah, they were quite liberal, but I mean, they did some good work, you know, and we had like women's discos and things like that, which was unheard of in Northern Ireland at the time. But yeah, so right from back in the 80s, really, I was pretty radical, but I'd never seen anything like this, you know, like the sudden build in transgenderism and stuff, and people being afraid to talk about it, and you know, afraid to lose their jobs, and you know, afraid that all their friends would disappear, and you know, that was really happening. It did happen, you know. And I've never been wanted to be quiet about stuff, really. You know, it doesn't.
I guess daughter's very, very important to you. You know, in a minute we're going to hear first of your songs about daughters. Did we do well, my darling girls? If you could get that ready, please, Mary. What made you want to write about your daughters?
I think it's not just my daughters, you know, but everybody's daughters. Yeah. Having daughters is pretty special, really. Oh, I'm welling up. I'll embarrass them if they watch it.
I'm so lucky.
It's really special having daughters. And I've got a granddaughter as well, and that's really special. I mean, I love my grandsons, don't get me wrong, but having a granddaughter is very special. And I think it's just speaking up for them, you know, when the world's so fast going down the pan and women's so-called rights, because they're not rights if they can be taken away, being rolled back, you know, in so many countries. You know, every advance we make, we take 2 steps, 10 steps back even. Yeah. You know, we need to talk about it. We need to sing about it. We need to let them know that we're here and that we, you know, we hear them, and
We are. That's a good cue. Let's have the music.
Did we do well? We grew you up to be straight and strong, to do your best to know right from wrong. But we grew you in this awful world, a world that's hard and tough for girls. And part of your strength was to take it and make it okay. But it's not okay, my darling girls, in this fucked up, muddled up, mixed up world. And it's not okay to be always poor and expect the bailiffs at your door. And it's not alright for a man to treat you as if you're nothing and then to cheat. And it's not alright to be punched and beaten. It's not okay for the man on the street to lick his lips as if you're meat, to have you primp and have you preen when you're in a cell is never seen and you're invisible.
Yeah, I actually wrote that. I was in Norwich with my daughter, and I think she was pushing her son in the buggy, and a man came towards us, and he just literally looked at her as if she was a piece of meat and licked his lips.
Oh.
And it was just gross, you know, really.
Absolutely.
You know, and every girl, well, she was a young woman then, not particularly old, but every girl and young woman goes through that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You know?
I particularly liked your other song about daughters, because it summarizes all those toxic messages that the girls get drip, 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 day by day in school and in the world out there. You know, all these things that happen and the conclusions that they draw without ever even getting to put it into words. I remember when I first took my daughter to a museum it was an air museum with my son. And at the end of it, she said, you know, I've decided what I want to be when I grow up. I'm going to be an army planer. And by that, she meant a pilot. I remember my heart sinking, so I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to rain on her parade, and I didn't want to let her believe something impossible. And I remember thinking, I don't know what to say here. You know, it's another hope she's got that's going to get dashed. And of course, she's not an army planer at all, but she's happy what she did. But all these little messages that come in. So can we please hear the other daughter song? What did you learn in school today? A couple of verses of that, please, Mary.
What did you learn in school today, dear little girl of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little girl of mine? I learned that only girls like pink, that only boys know how to think. The girls should learn to just be quiet and keep their eyes upon their diet. That's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school. What did you learn in school today, dear little girl of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little girl of mine? I learned that men are never bad, that I should just forgive my dad. The punishment always fits the crime, but when you're 12 you're in your prime. That's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school.
All the other messages that girls get in school, I'm sure you already know, but get the CD and read some more. So Ali, I gather you've had a few social media bans. Give us a few examples. What total are you up to? Have you kept a count?
I haven't. I gave up after a while because there were so many. I've had 2 accounts that have been completely banned, because when you've got and I think what they do is if you have a certain number of bans, they decide they need to know if you're a real person or not. And obviously I can't prove I am who I say I am, because I'm not.
Okay.
And so I lost another one recently, and then I've got 3 other accounts, one of which I don't really use, which was set up as a male, Alistair. And then Ali Jean Batts, which is my real name, kind of, and Ali B, which is the name I use for pretty much everything else. And I must have been blocked, I don't know, banned 30, 40 times, I'm sure, for you know, varying from a week to 3 days a week, 30 days, you know, and for stuff that that I posted years ago sometimes as well. Just suddenly, you know, so somebody's obviously trawling through it and, you know, pick it. And actually, the I got kicked off. Oh, I can't remember the name. There was some song hosting site because somebody complained about me, and they took down all the songs that mentioned transgenderism, which meant that there was like 2 songs up there. And so I just closed that account. Yesterday I got an email.
Oh, you've gone
because it was what was it called? Oh, fuck 'em all, fuck 'em all, fuck 'em all. Long and the short and the tall. I do have a tendency to steal tunes, and I've had one removed from YouTube before, which was if it wasn't he for the trannies, where would we be? And I obviously didn't like that. I'm quite lucky not to have lost my YouTube account over that one. I think really that they were, yeah.
Oh, well, we're very glad you haven't.
And you're obviously Bandcamp, however, have been very good because they got a complaint, and the person actually emailed me as well to abuse me, and they kicked them off instead. So that was very good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, somebody's got some sense then. Because all too often people say things about TERFs, and that's fine. Die in a fire TERF is fine to say, and RIP TERF. But if you give it back to them, then you get banned. That's what's just happened to me. We're banned off Twitter for the moment. Object is banned. So yeah, I've appealed, so you won't hear from us for a little while. But that's what it was about. And Posey Parker's just let me know she's got a Facebook ban, so she'll be a bit quiet for a while. But that's given her time to fill in our surrogacy consultation, which she got back to us within 24 hours. So we're very impressed. You know, it's not all bad. So yeah. You're very informed about a number of feminist topics. Autogynephilia is something that a lot of people have barely heard of or not even heard of at all. And you've been writing about it for some time ago. Would you say it's a dangerous form of narcissism?
I think it's very likely to be narcissism. I mean, obviously, I'm not a, you know.
I'm just asking you. I know you're not a psychologist.
But it's so self-involved that I don't see how it cannot be, really. And I think it's porn-led, really, especially sissy porn. I mean, things I've seen. And the seeing of women as not being human, as an object. You know, if you see women as an object, then you can quite easily make yourself the object of your lust by seeing yourself as a woman, I think. So yeah, I mean, I did. It didn't surprise me when I found out about it. Let's put it that way.
How did you find out about it?
Oh, I can't even remember it so long ago now. It's like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
You know, I mean, I do realise that for a few trans males, I don't like the word really because there's no such thing, but it is internalized homophobia and possibly even in even less cases it's to do with body dysphoria, but it's all mental health issues. It's not, you know, it's not a real thing. I just want to go up to them and say it's not real.
I think we're talking about the word delusion, aren't we? Delusion, that's what we're looking for. So tell us the Harry Miller story, which we now know as the Ali B story. So tell us what happened.
So I posted the lyrics to one of my songs on, and
which one was it?
I think it was called You're a Man, but I can't remember now. yeah, the verse that got picked up was, your breasts are made of silicone, your vagina goes nowhere. I can't remember the rest of it. Somebody else retweeted it without crediting me.
Yeah.
I think people tend to do that because they don't want you to get into trouble, but I don't really care if I get into trouble. And then Harry Miller picked it up, retweeted it, or liked it, or I think he retweeted it. And then the police got involved. You know.
Didn't they turn up at his work?
Huh?
Didn't they turn up at his work?
I believe so, yeah. But then what happened was he kind of ran with it. I friended him on Facebook and we discussed it, and he was saying, you know, I will credit you, and I'm going on the radio in Australia, and he was on the telly and all sorts, and he kept saying, yeah, I will say it was you who wrote it, and he never did. And I wrote a song called The Thought Police about what happened to him, which is, the picture came up at the beginning with me wearing my Thought Police hat. Yeah. And he just never did it, and he never did it, and never did it. And then I got quite cross with him.
Yeah, understand.
And because you know, he was getting all this publicity, and he didn't even like link to my YouTube channel or anything, or the CD. And he was quite aware of it because we were having conversations about doing a gig together, you know. So I got quite cross, and he was then no, he wasn't trying to protect me, Liz Poole. He actually messaged me to say that he was trying to protect me. I mean, what is it, a white knight or something? He's not, you know, I don't need to be protected. I'm fucking 62. So he was then asked to do this limerick book, because everybody said it was a limerick. It wasn't a limerick. Yeah. It wasn't structurally the same as a limerick. It was the verse of a song. So he was asked to edit this limerick book, and everybody was sending him these limericks. So I sent him a rude limerick about what he'd done. And all his supporters piled on me on Twitter. And I was like, oh shit, I don't like this. And a friend ran away. I just shut down my account. Well, I'm back on there now. And so Harry Miller was the hero, and I never even got a mention. It was mad. And people were calling me a cunt and saying I've got mental health issues. And Harry Miller didn't say, no, well, actually, you know, she did write the thing in the first place. She should have input into this book that's being done. And then the people who were doing the book got in touch with me and said I could do a piece in the front of the book, sort of not an intro exactly, but you know. And so I wrote a piece and sent it back to them. And the woman who was doing it, who struck me as being fairly young and new to the publishing game, I think it was just online publishing, wrote back to call me a demon.
Demon? That's a bit strong.
Yeah, I'm a demon. So yeah, that was really. I got all the emails and stuff somewhere.
So did it all go out with your thing in then?
Sorry?
Did the book go out with your
well, when Harry Miller dropped out, it all sort of fell apart and it never happened, I think. But the fact that he never even said to these people, actually, it wasn't a limerick. Actually, I didn't write it, and you know.
This is what gave me the idea of getting you on, because you know our little series of webinars is called Hidden Voices, because so many people get silenced, and it's so classic, isn't it? You know, there's so many famous men that have made, you know, I'm not saying Harry Miller's is famous or fantastic or anything like that, but you know, Bertolt Brecht, all these, you know, famous people who, and you know, the guy who did the big-eyed kids paintings. It turned out his wife was doing those all the time. His name was going out there.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember reading
about so you might be able to put some in the chat. Think of all the other examples that we know where a woman has had the talent and done the work, and a bloke has taken the credit and had the fame. It's just absolutely classic. And I was shocked. You know, I shouldn't have been, but I was shocked. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. You know, I saw Ali B's music on there. Let's have a look a little deeper, you know, because this is
saying he didn't do some good stuff. I mean, setting up Fair Cop was probably quite a good idea, you know.
Yeah, of course it was, and they've done some good work. I think I'm in Fair Cop. Yeah, someone's put in the chat, Clara Schumann. That's right, Clara Schumann, the musician. Robert Schumann got all the credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
thousands
classic, isn't it?
and thousands and thousands of women whose
Yeah,
men
absolutely. So we're not going to let it go. Just like, you know, a trans activist will never let misgendering go. We're not going to let a credit claim go. So we're very glad to make it here. I think that I want to play another one of your songs now. It's called Don't Sing Me Songs. Obviously, we are going to sing you songs. And the line I like it because it explodes all these horrendous coercive control mechanisms that men do to us. But the line, my favourite line, is sing me a song about freedom and safety. And to me, that says it all. You know, we'd probably all be happy if we were free and we were safe. We don't need all that shit laying on us, but it comes out very, very clearly in your songs. So if Mary, we could have Don't Sing Me Songs, I would be most grateful.
You can grow your hair, my darling boy. You can play with dolls and wear a dress. It doesn't mean that you're a girl, and thinking so will cause you stress. You can cut your hair, my darling girl. You can play with cars and wear flat shoes. You can be anything that you want to be, but your sex you cannot choose. And I'm sorry, not sorry, that I won't lie to you, 'cause I promised I'd always do the right thing and tell you what is true. A dress doesn't make a woman, and shoes don't make a man. No matter, no matter, no matter who tells you that they can. You can tell your lies, you stupid boy, that woman's just a feeling, that your penis is a woman's dick. You need to breach the cotton ceiling. You can believe the lies, you silly girl. The surgery's a solution.
Is your sexuality relevant to your feminism?
I don't think I've got one anymore.
Yeah, of course you have. Of course you have. You're a babe. You're only 62.
Yeah, I'm not really. I had uterine cancer and had a full hysterectomy, including ovaries. And since then, I've been much more interested in singing and talking to people and having shagging.
I think that's your choice. What about your experience of motherhood? How was that?
I love being a mother. I would have done it over and over and over and over again if I'd had the chance. But I had two babies that were born with genetic defects. Well, when I say born, I had a 7-month pregnancy that was terminated and a 5-month pregnancy that was terminated because of anencephaly. So I didn't think it was a very good idea to carry on, really.
Of course.
So I had to find other things to do. But I did very much enjoy. I even like being pregnant. Really, don't know. It's quite odd.
I think a lot of people
loved being a mother. I chose to be poor and bring in the occasional bit of money by busking. This is when we were in Northern Ireland. I could make quite a bit of money busking in the 80s. Rather than go to work, because I just loved spending time with them. And our house became this sort of centre for children to come and play and stuff. Yeah. Which was lovely, really. I did a bit of childminding as well, but I made money at that.
I made quite a lot of money at that, actually.
I got people who said, "Oh, well, I'll give you the money next week," and I never saw them again.
Not my customers.
I was far too soft with.
Far too nice, I think, probably.
I did a bit of work with the social services with sort of difficult kids and stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of supply of those, and that must have been interesting.
Yeah, I just like kids, really.
Yeah. So what brought you on to write about rape? I'm hoping we're going to be able to hear the Ched Evans song. Was it when that case hit the headlines?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and you know, and all the excuses that people were coming out with, and it just drives me absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
That, you know, still women are blamed for it. You know, no matter what you do, it's the wrong thing. And I was talking to somebody the other day about these anti-rape things that people keep coming up with, like the nail varnish that colours your changes colour when you dip it in a spiked drink, and the spiky thing that you have to insert in your vagina, and you know, so that if you get raped when you go out, the guy gets stuck on his dick, and shorts that are so difficult to get off that presumably the guy just gives up and goes to find somebody without shorts, and that's the problem, isn't it? You know, again, women are expected to take responsibility for making themselves non-rapeable, when it's men who need to take responsibility.
And nobody ever says don't rape, do they? You ever see that on the side of a bus?
Hardly ever. No, exactly. So, you know, what we have to do is just resign ourselves to the fact that men are going to rape us, and we have to do things to our body to make it difficult for them, and never considering that then they're going to go on and rape the women who can't afford those items, or can't access those items, or are disabled, or whatever, you know.
Yeah, no solution at all.
Drives me absolutely mad. Yeah. And people who argue for these things will say that it's an individual choice and stuff.
Oh, it's an individual choice to be raped, huh? No, I don't think.
Good job I'm at the other end of the computer and not in a room with them.
Absolutely, me too, me too. Do you think you could find us number 7? Mary? No. Number 13.
Yeah.
Great.
I know a fucking rapist. His given name is Ched. He thinks he doesn't need consent when a woman's passed down on his bed. He was carted off to prison, found guilty of his crime. He thinks he should be forgiven cause he's done a bit of time. Cause he's rape crazy and he's rape mad. Raping it has taken away the little humanity had. And it would take a dozen policemen to cart him off to jail. So Ched became a bastard of a fucking rapist male. His mates think that it's okay to share his victim's name, but he doesn't give a monkey's cause he's got no bleeding shame. He wants to be a football star, be a role model to youth, but he's just a fucking rapist, and that's the bloody truth. Cause he's rape crazy, and he's rape mad. Raping it has taken away the little humanity had, and it would take a dozen policemen to cart him off to jail. So Ched became a bastard of a fucking rapist man.
So have you ever been involved in any activism apart from musically, Ali?
I was in CND for a while and went on a few marches. I wouldn't call the women's rights stuff activism. I volunteered with them, and I helped set up a charity shop, raising money for them in Coleraine, which is where I was living on the Antrim coast, and that was great fun actually. We cleaned out this shop and found all sorts of interesting junk lying about in it, and went around all the businesses asking for donations and stuff and got it going. But then, like everything, they decided they were going to be paid jobs, you know, a paid manager and stuff. And obviously the volunteers weren't offered the jobs. So I was kind of out on my ear. Well, I still occasionally volunteered, and I did use it, and you know, kept in touch with the women and stuff. But I was quite cross that none of the women who put a hell of a lot of work in were were thought to be suitable for this job. Any of them could have done it, including me. You know, but I wonder if it's still there. Don't know, it might be.
So you don't go on marches and go on demos and things.
Decrepit to go on marches.
Ah, rubbish! You're a baby. You're younger than me. You're a babe.
I can't, my hips are gone. I can't really walk very far, or even at all some days. So yeah, I'd love to. There's been loads of marches
Not
that
for
I would
you,
have
then,
loved to
although
have
they
gone
usually
on.
are a bit of a slow amber. You do have to get to them.
I have been to a few conferences. They were good fun, and I did. Bruce Greenberg set up some in London. The
Radfem Collective.
Yeah, collective.
Yeah, I chaired one.
And they were fantastic.
Yeah.
And she let me do music at a couple of them, and then obviously the pub afterwards we got pissed and had a sing song.
Surely not. Yeah.
But the first one I did, I don't think Ruth had even heard me sing before that. So it was very brave of her to let me do it.
She is brave, Ruth.
I sang a song called Just Cells, which is on the CD.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Julia Long was in the audience, and she just stood up and went face like that. That's fantastic.
It is a great song. It is a great song. I'm hoping to get to it.
And that was when I knew I was on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely. You found your sisters. I think you found them. Yeah. I hope we'll fit that one in. The one I'd like to have next is Gaslighter, because I have been gaslit by so many men in my life. I'm sure we all have. And it's just so wonderful to hear it all spelt out like that, because sometimes you think, is it right? You spend so much time angsting over these horrible messages, and it's just so lovely to hear it all laid out. So this is number 12, Mary.
I'm a gaslighter, I'm as doodly as I come. I could be your brother, your father, or your son, or I pretend to be your lover. I pretend to be your friend. But you know it's gonna be all about me in the end. Yeah, I'm a gaslighter, I'll convince you black is white. I'm a mean fighter and you must believe the hype. I'll show you that you're crazy, that you can't believe your eyes. And I'll chew you up and spit you out till you believe the lies. 'Cause I'm a gaslighter, but you know I love you, girl. Can't bear to be without you. You know that you're my world. So tell me where you'll be every minute of the day. And I'll beat you fucking senseless if you try to get away. Your mother thinks I'm charming, and I can be quite disarming. Your friends just think that I'm misunderstood. I know if I'm really lucky, at least half of them will fuck me, and they won't ever tell, which suits me very well. And I can carry on pretending to be good, 'cause I'm a gaslighter, always right and never wrong. If you obey my orders, then I know we'll get along. And if I have to discipline, you know that you're to blame.
Oh, have you written any songs recently?
I've got about 10 on the go.
10 on the go.
I've got I think 3 finished waiting to be recorded or to have tunes, and a few sort of half written, and I do tend to cook them for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Sometimes they just go poof onto the page and they've already got a tune, but that's a bit few and far between, you know.
Could you give us an example of one where they just went phew onto the page?
Sorry?
Can you give us an example of one where you just went?
Well, the whole woman did, really. it was pretty much just, you know, I just wrote it down. And the tune actually came from the sort of wee guitar bit at the beginning came from an advert for exterior paint, shed paint or something, which I think had been stolen from something else, because it definitely reminded me of another song, which I can't remember now. But that pretty much did itself, really, because I think it was because I was so cross.
You can feel the anger in your songs.
Yeah. And writing out is the only way to get rid of them. But other times, I'll get an idea, and it'll just go round and round and round. And I know if I don't write about it, even if I think, I don't know whether that's going to work or whatever, but it just like a bit like an earworm, and it just goes round and round and round. If I don't write it, it'll go round and round and round until I do write, and it drives me absolutely bonkers. In the middle of the night, I'll sit up and go, right a bit down, you know.
I want to move on to another one about a transgender person. It's number 14 on the CD, Mary, Coming to a Gym Near You. It starts off, I'm 6'4" and I like to wear a dress. And I've always wondered, was there anyone particular that inspired you to write that?
The song was inspired by a case where a woman had actually complained at her gym about a man being in the changing room and been told that that was a woman. And she took it to court. I can't even remember if she won or lost because it took a long time. But at the time, you know, when that happened, I could see that it was just going to happen over and over again, you know. That, you know, if you suppose some men can be women, well, any man can be a woman, can't he? You know, it's and have access, and you know. And what was he doing in there? Well, probably nothing good, really, you know.
There's no good reason, is there? There's no good reason at all. No. Before we play that, Mary, I think you were going to put the links in the chat for the email for the CDs. Because if you email Ali and send her some money, she will send you a CD. And you can also download the tracks individually as well, and there's a link for that. So if we could have those in the chat when you have a moment, please, that would be great. And if we could listen to track number 14, Coming to a Gym.
I'm 6'4" and I like to wear a dress. Take size 14 boots and me baldy head's a mess. I don't like to exercise, I'm big enough, it's true. And I'm coming to a gym near you. I'm gonna hang my bag in your changing room and leer at you a bit while you try to get changed. But don't you talk about it, though you know that I'm a man, 'cause you'll be silenced, don't you know that that's the plan? And I'm 6'4" and I like to wear a dress. Take size 14 boots and me baldy head's a mess. I don't like to exercise, I'm big enough, it's true. And I'm coming to a gym near you. Now what was in the bag will give you pause to think. It might have been a camera, let's say it was a drink. Don't have to be a member, I just pushed my way right through. A man's right to be a woman puts any man over you. And I'm 6'4" and I like to wear a dress. Take size 14 boots and me baldy head's a mess. I don't like to exercise, I'm big enough, it's true. And I'm coming to a gym near you. And the weirdest thing, I think you'll all agree.
Yep, you'll have to buy it to find out. And I do recommend it, I really do. So, any new topics coming into your brain?
Or the same old topics?
Same old. They haven't been. These problems have not been solved, have they? They really haven't. I'd like to ask a question. I did look at the YouTube channel, and I did want to ask, who is the glamorous assistant that you sometimes wheel in? Does the glamorous assistant come back and make you a cup of tea?
Tea? That's my partner, who's very patient about that. Really.
Always a good quality in a man.
And just I said, I think I need a backing singer for this one, so we dressed him up and.
Yeah, I noticed it.
Marie, my wife, obviously.
Yeah, just tell him from me he needs to put his high heels on next time, yeah?
How did you know he wasn't wearing them? You didn't see his feet.
I could tell the way he walked. You can tell how someone's walking in high heels. I think we'll have a little bit of that Just Sells song, the one that you said got to Julia Long. It is a wonderful song. That is number 4, isn't it? Is there any particular thing that inspired you to write that one? That was an early one, was it?
Yeah, I read about this guy called Sissy Reed Barrows.
Ooh.
And I think it might have been on Gender Trender. And he dressed up to hang around children's playgrounds and also ladies' toilets to steal used Tampax to put up his bum. And wow, it's either so dreadful you can't think about it, or it's comedy, isn't it? You know, so so that, yeah, that's where the idea for that song came from. You can still find him online. I occasionally look it up, see if there's anything new turned up about him. Honestly, you know, pink, frilly, sort of little girly dresses and stuff. Obviously into the sissy porn thing, and yeah, very odd man.
I think they should let them wear dresses as much as they like when they're little, and then the novelty will have worn off by the time they get big. That's my plan. I've got a photograph of myself.
You know, I mean, I actually don't have a problem with men wearing sort of stereotypically women's clothes.
No.
It's when they...
It's their behaviour.
When they think that that is what makes a woman is just,
deeply,
you know, it's
insulting.
Bizarre, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, clearly, you know, so many of these people just don't think that women are human beings, you know.
Exactly, and that's the problem.
We're all just cells when you get down to the heart of it. If you break it down from the end right through the start of it, we're all just one big cluster. You best believe it, Buster. Yes, we're all just cells. Your penis is just cells, your brain is just cells too. So it doesn't really matter what you call yourself or do. So you can call yourself a lady, though you still got a dick. You know, it's all just cells, so it can be a lady stick. And we're all just cells when you get down to the heart of it. You break it down from the end right through the start of it. We're all just one big cluster, you best believe it, Buster. Yes, we're all just cells. And if you've got 2 working legs and you'd rather they don't work, they're just cells, just call them broken and deny that you're a jerk. Just tell them you'll rape and kill them if women disagree. Because there's a competition, you will be the best lady, because we're all just cells. When you get down to the heart of it, if you break it down from the end right through the start of it, we're all just one big cluster. You best believe it, Buster. Yes, we're all just cells. Actually, the just cells thing was actually, there was somebody who said that it didn't really matter what you called yourself because, or did, or how you behaved or whatever, because we're all just clusters of cells. So basically you can be anything you want. And the second verse about the non-working legs thing, there was a guy who also found out about on Gender Trender, who calls himself transgender, but he's also transabled, so he's perfectly able to walk about, but he goes on like long hikes and stuff, but he goes around the shops and, well, not on in a wheelchair, so people have to help him get stuff down from shelves and, you know, treat him nicely and stuff.
It's the ultimate in manipulation, isn't it?
It really is, isn't it? You know, so he not only says he's a woman, but he's a disabled woman. Which
you think people would just get a hobby or something, wouldn't you? So I just find it impossible.
Yeah, it's just 2 fingers up to disabled women, really. Or,
yeah,
it's just.
Yeah. Well, so this is why you cannot identify into an oppressed group, because it's not fair on the people that can't identify out of it.
It's impossible. Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, the implications of the whole thing is that if you could identify out of being a woman, you know. none of the things that happen to women, like FGM and child marriage and abortion, forced abortion and abortion of female fetuses, wouldn't happen, because you could just say you're a man and it wouldn't happen. So clearly it's a load of bollocks. And if people really believed that you could do that, the women who say that they're men wouldn't be only in the newspapers for having fucking babies.
I know.
It's like, that's the only thing you ever see about them. Well, the men are winning races, cycling and
winning prizes,
suing people, and everybody's, oh, they're so wonderful and brave and stunning and stuff. And the women having babies. See, men can have a baby. Fucking nonsense.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? I was going to characterise you as the female Margaret Atwood before Margaret Atwood went and upset us all by, taking the wrong side on this argument.
She kind of chickened out, really.
Yeah. Musical Margaret.
How you can write a book like the Handmaid's Tale
and not get that.
Think that men can be women is beyond me.
I know, it's amazing how she enlightened so many people and yet hasn't quite seen the light herself on this issue. But we will hope that she does in the future, because
when I read it the last time I read it, I did have this thing, because I read it like years ago before the sort of tranny stuff and that, and I reread it, and I did have this theory that the wives might actually be trans women, and that was why they couldn't have children. But
well, I think you might be ahead of Margaret Atwood there. We'll drop her a line and give her a suggestion for our next book. One of the things I really like about your songs is that they're so funny. And I wanted to play the Fedora song, because I'm sure all the Radfems will enjoy a little smile at the expense of the Lidfems, whom we love and who are our sisters. But every now and again, we have to have a little dig. And this is on the CD number 9, Mary, for your information. So did you have anyone particular in mind when you wrote He Wears a Fedora?
A lot of memes going about at the time of fat men in fedoras being ridiculously, sort of up themselves about, what you could say and stuff, and it just struck me as being funny, and the sort of fedora became a thing in my head about men like that. Even if they don't have a fedora, they probably should. Although, having said that, I have actually got a fedora, so
oh, you should have put it on.
Don't tell anybody, it's a secret.
Yeah. Rebecca Tassel's put in the chat, she likes fedoras, so maybe next time, Rebecca, So if we could have a little bit about, I love this song, it always makes me smile, about the song He Wears a Fedora.
There's a lefty who's on the internet who thinks he knows it all. He'll mansplain happily for hours, plus hear him cat the wall. He wears a t-shirt with the words as feminist as fuck, in the hopes he'll get a shot from it with a little bit of love. He wears a fedora, all the lid femmes flutter and fuss. They say I adore ya, I really adore ya, he knows so much more about life than us. He'll tell you he's read all the books, so he really knows his stuff, and he likes porn, so it's feminist, because women really like it rough. He's a fan of queer theory and a world where gender's king. He knows there's men and lady brains, and transphobia's the thing. He wears a fedora, all the lid femmes flutter and fuss. They say I adore ya, I really adore ya, he knows so much more about life than us.
I've got to unmute. Another really funny one I like is the New World's Dawning, which is number 8 on the CD, which is a rip-off of Nothing Could Be Finer Than to Be in Carolina in the Morning, if you remember that old song. And Ali's got some more interesting words to put on that. If you could give us number 8, please, Rebecca. Oh, this is Mary. Sorry, it's me thinking I've got Rebecca. Mary's going to give us number 8.
nothing could be finer than to have a fake vagina in the morning. It's just like all the others, all the sisters and some brothers, new world's dawning. I feel like such a lady, if you think it's different, you're crazy, though I have to keep it open with a tool. There might be a little pus, but don't make any fuss. If you don't want me, you're a transphobe and a fool. Every morning when I wake up, I must apply my makeup every day now. My mascara is empowering, my femininity is flowering, it's the way now. Practice walking on those platforms, keep an eye on where the fat forms. We all know that this is what us women do. With a flutter of our lashes and a cream for nasty rashes, with a shiny, happy, proper lady crew. But if you cross me, I will kill you, I will out you and revile you. I'll make your fucking life a misery. I will stalk you, I will hate you, I will cry and I'll berate you till you...
We're nearly at the end. Somebody's suggested that never smile at an autogynephile would be a good one to end on. Or the wokey blokey. Now they're on YouTube. I don't know if Mary can find those. Can you find those, Mary? She says yes. She shouted up the stairs. Go on then. Right, let's have the autogynephile. We like that. Never smile at an autogynephile.
Well, you'll fit within your skin. Never smile at an autogynephile. Never meet his eye. You'll stay to talk or I'll turn around, run away. Do not join the games to play. Once your place, you'll take your face. That autogynephile. You may very well feel that you're woke, but a bloke will always be just a bloke. Human beings can never change sex, deny the line, don't comply. Never smile at an autogynephile. No, you can't get friendly with an autogynephile. Don't be taken in by his narcissist grin. He's imagining how well he'll fit within your skin. Never smile at an autogynephile. Never meet his eye or stay to talk or I'll turn around, run away. Do not join the games to play. He wants your place, he'll take your face. That autogynephile. You may very well feel that you're woke, but a bloke will always be just a bloke. Human beings can never change sex, deny the lie, don't comply. Never smile at an autogynephile. No, you can get friendly with an autogynephile. Don't be taken in by his narcissist grin. He's imagining how well he'll fit within your...
It's a great one to end on, even you're smiling. This is the great thing about these songs. They deal with all these big issues and you cut right to the heart of them without a lot of explanation. And then you make it okay. Not that it makes the problems go away, but there's a fight back, there's a laugh, there's something that makes us strong and able to not dodge them, not ignore them, not forget about them, but to think we're going to deal with them. And that's what I love about your music. And on that note, thank you all very, very much. Please go away, have a wonderful feminist few weeks. Remember, deny the lie, do not comply. And we will notify you about our next Objectinar very, very soon.
Did we do well, my darling girls? Did we really do well? We grew you up to be straight and strong, to do your best to know right from wrong. But we grew you in this awful world, a world that's hard and tough for girls. And part of your strength was to take it and make it okay. But it's not okay, my darling girls, in this fucked up, muddled up